10 seconds. Here you go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're up.
Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome from Nationwide Arena in the Arena District of downtown Columbus, Ohio, where tonight the Columbus Blue Jackets Radio Network is pleased to be bringing you Blue Jackets hockey as the Jackets take on, once again, the Nashville Predators. Hello, everyone. George Matthews with you, along with Billy Davidge and game host Mark Wyatt to bring you the play-by-play of tonight's NHL action. Now, Columbus, they are 16-23-5 in the season. Now, they're coming off a 2-0 loss to these very same Predators last night down in Nashville. Now, the Jackets so far this season 0-4 against the Preds. Nashville, they are 30-11-3, and they are looking to extend their winning streak to 5 if they can defeat the Blue Jackets here at Nationwide tonight. Up next, Billy Davidge and game host Mark Wyatt. Plus, you'll hear from Blue Jackets assistant coach Gary Agnew. Plus, we've got the NHL Plays of the Week. Stay tuned. The Blue Jackets pregame show is coming right back at you. This is the Columbus Blue Jackets Radio Network.
No, I've been very fortunate. Coming down from Canada on a hockey scholarship, you make a decision whether to go to the East Coast to the University of Pennsylvania or do you come to Ohio and start a hockey program at Ohio State as a player. And I was very fortunate to get a scholarship, to move on after the fact when all of a sudden injuries take me out of the game as a player. I go down to Miami University, go into graduate school. I have an opportunity at that time to begin and start a program there. And today we're pretty proud of what Miami University has been able to accomplish. But, to be involved in the game through the junior, through the college, as not only a player but a coach, and now as a broadcaster, I had a couple of steps in between there where I did player development. I did a little TV, did a little radio in Cincinnati. At Miami University, we had our own show called Time Out. And through the luck of the draw and Doug McLean coming to Columbus and also being a student here at Ohio State, it lent support for me to leave the Oxford scene, come into Columbus, and been paired up with you now for the last 6-7 years.
As a color analyst, Bill, having that experience as an ex-coach is a terrific asset.
Well, it is. What you're able to do is bring in, I think, some of the aspects of not only just being a player, but what coaches go through. And it's not just what you do behind the bench. It's all those little things behind the scenes, the meetings, the one-on-one meetings, the early mornings when you're basically looking at how to structure your organization as much as you can. So I think having that aspect of it has really been, I think, a positive.
Huge part of your growing up period here in Ohio, and again, growing up in Canada in the earlier stages and having that love for the game. It's terrific to see the NHL being successful here in not only in Columbus but the state of Ohio.
Well, you know what, it was when I first heard about it, I kind of snickered a little bit because Columbus, we tried to put people in our building as a college team way back when, but we didn't have the facilities. But then all of a sudden you have an owner like John H. McConnell who puts not forth the time, but the money and the efforts in and around the community. You've got now a total of 11 arenas in this area, and that really makes things go. When you have the support of the community, you have an owner doing what he does, and then you hire a guy like Doug McLean to be able to come in and from the ground zero up to be able to build something, it has shown and proven that community along with NHL means great fan support. And we've been very fortunate here in Columbus and still looking for our first playoff series, but in the meantime, we're still averaging over 17,000 from year one.
29 affiliates that we have on the network, Bill, and again, getting a chance to talk about the game throughout the state of Ohio, showing these affiliates showing great support for the game, and an integral part to growing this game in the state of Ohio is that we're all over the map in the state.
Well, and that's why you and I are doing it, George. We're both educators, and what our job is each and every night we get on the air is to educate the small towns, the big cities, all the people that haven't heard a lot about the game. We try to educate them, bring to them the enthusiasm of what you and I get a chance to witness every night, try to paint that picture as best we can, and in the long run, hopefully the wins will outweigh the losses, and we've done our job.
As one of the most exciting and passionate color analysts in the National Hockey League, and as good as there is, that's Bill Davidge.
You're up.
Back at Nationwide Arena, George Matthews, Bill Davidge with the keys to tonight's hockey game, brought to you by Delta. Now, is your business taking you overseas, or are you planning your next vacation? Delta is now flying to even more places across the globe, and the choices, well, again, they are almost endless. Better make Delta.com your first stop on your next trip. It's back-to-back games for the Jackets and the Predators, with the Preds winning 2-0 down in Nashville last night. Bill, the keys have to be more finely tuned here tonight.
Well, they've got to be finely tuned because why? 8 core players out of the lineup. You've got Foote, Nash, Fedorov, Westcott, Svitov, Shelley, Pascal Leclerc. You can throw Brian Berard in there. That's the core of this hockey team, and it's gone. So what you have to do, come in tonight, play solid D, especially through the neutral zone, and be disciplined. I thought last night the Jackets played a great road game. They did not allow much to happen. In fact, they kept the Nashville Predators to 24 shots on goal, and I thought it was one of the best road games that we've been able to play. Just the inability to score was there.
Key number 2.
Well, you've got to generate a little consistency in that offense, and somehow, some way, you've got to be able to make it happen. And how do you do that? Short, aggressive shifts. You remember when Ken Hitchcock came in, George? I mean, 35, 40 seconds. They just kept buzzing and buzzing. And that's exactly what this team has to do. And play with that intensity knowing that you're at home. Hopefully that'll help to generate a little offense as well.
Okay, third key.
Well, take advantage of any mistake. And if you get a chance for a power play, you better build on it. If you get a turnover, you better build on it. And last night we were failed to capitalize. Why? Great goaltending to Thomas Facun. They've got Chris Mason in the net tonight, number 1 in save percentage in the National Hockey League. You'll talk about his statistics in a minute, but he's one of the best. The Jackets have to find a way to crack him open, but take advantage of a mistake when it's handed to you and don't look back.
Top-ended club here in Nashville, looking for their second 5-game winning streak of the season.
Exactly, and they're now one of 3 teams that have got 30 wins on the year, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. They have depth, they've got good speed, they can play any type of game you want.
Okay, back with the opening lineup, scratches and game officials in just a moment. This is the Columbus Blue Jackets Radio Network. Back at Nationwide, George Matthews, Bill Davidge. Let's go to ice level now with, we've got our game host, Mark Gwine.
Hey, Gordon. When the Jackets were first born, when they first started, I was actually at that time working full-time in radio, morning talk show host at the local flagship station, and the Blue Jackets wanted somebody who was working at the station to be involved with their on-air broadcast, whether it be the pregame or the postgame show. And that first year, for about the first 10, 15 games, I alternated that position with somebody else, and then after a while that person left the station, and it kind of fell into my lap to be the pregame host, talk to the players between periods, and then do the postgame. And the show's kind of evolved over the past 6 seasons to where it is right now.
What do you like best?
Probably getting a chance to talk to these players when they come off the ice. I mean, it's pretty unique. These guys are involved in an athletic competition at the professional level. They come off the ice, and you get a chance to ask them a couple of questions about what just transpired out on the ice. 99.9% of the time, the players are real cooperative about it and usually keep the language in check. Usually.
3-goal deficit to this team. You guys been in this position before against them earlier this season.
That's stupid mistakes. We're doing stupid mistakes. We're playing them all us as a game. Kind of get beat 1-on-1 2 times. There's no excuse. That's it.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, Jason. Jason Chimera, the Jackets, obviously some frustration building with the team right there, giving up these goals here in the second period to give Anaheim the 4-1 lead. Coming up, a recap of period 2 with Bill and George, get you updated on some of the other games, and the Sharp Email segment brought to you by Gordon Flesh. All on the way. Back after this, you're listening to the home of the Blue Jackets.
So give us some insight to that.
Oops.
What's one of your favorite stories?
Boy, there was one time where I can't remember if it was the second or third year. I was standing out in the hallway waiting for the period to end. But before the period ended, Jody Shelley ended up getting in a fight with somebody. He came off the ice into the tunnel, and we had a monitor down there on the floor, and Jody wanted to see a replay of his fight. And he was calm at the time, he was kind of like scouting himself as far as how he did in a fight. Well, then the replay ended. He then stood up and swung his stick into the wall, probably about 2 feet above my head. Stick shattered. Fortunately, the stick didn't come into contact with any part of my head. So that was pretty memorable, and if I'm not mistaken, I still think the mark on the wall is still there. So
Highlights from this season.
It wasn't here at Nationwide Arena, but I really liked the Sergei Fedorov overtime goal in Detroit. He gets booed every time he touches the puck up there. He was lining up the shot. People in Detroit were just booing him like crazy. Skated in, scored the goal, won the game for the Jackets. I thought that was great, and I also thought the victories over the Ottawa Senators and the Buffalo Sabres, 2 of the top teams in the league here at Nationwide, was a big highlight as well, along with their great comeback against the Ducks when they were down 3-0 in the third period, scored 4 goals and won the game.
What's one of your favorite things you've heard
Oh, boy. Their enthusiasm for the game. I really love it. You wouldn't think that the Jackets were a non-playoff team or having a bad season if you listen to Bill and George. If they don't say the score, you might think that the Jackets were winning every game with the amount of enthusiasm they throw into it. I think it's very contagious. Really love working with these two guys.
Bill Davidge along with George Matthews. And George, we want to talk a little bit about how you got involved in broadcasting. We knew you were too big to be a goaltender. So somehow, some way, you had to basically find your way into a niche that could get you to the National Hockey League, and here you are today.
Well, that's right, Billy. And you know what? Growing up in Canada, the passion for the game, everybody, and you grew up there as well, for the most part, people follow the game intensely. And having a chance to grow up in Canada and play the game at the minor league level, eventually through junior hockey, through college hockey as well, and realizing that, I wasn't good enough and obviously big enough as a goaltender to make it into the National Hockey League. So I decided that I had to make a living some way, somehow, get into teaching, and at the same time then start to get into broadcasting at the same time as well. And we would as a group on the east coast of Canada, we would broadcast 2-3 games a week. You'd teach 5 days a week. It would be nothing to work 60, 70 days in a row between broadcasting and teaching, but you made a living. You really enjoyed what you were doing, and you know what? No matter what world you're in, Billy, it's the world. And I was quite happy covering the American Hockey League and college hockey in Eastern Canada, but getting this opportunity in Columbus, Ohio with the Blue Jacket Radio Network has been an outstanding experience.
Now, how did you make it to the National Hockey League? And basically, now that you've made it, your thoughts?
Well, and that's a great question. And again, back to the teaching, I had a former student who is currently working in the National Hockey League, Grant Saunier, who in 1996, as I was working part-time with the American Hockey League, he phoned me in the off-season and told me that the Ducks of Anaheim was, in fact, they were looking for a radio broadcaster. And in years past, he'd heard me in the East Coast, and as a former student of mine, used to listen all the time. And he said, why don't you send in a resume and a tape of your broadcasts? I told the director of broadcasting here in Anaheim that, in fact, you weren't all that bad. So within 24 hours, I sent it in, and all of a sudden I got a phone call back from the director of broadcasting saying that I had been shortlisted down to the Final Four. And the same thing happened to me in Philadelphia at the same time. Neither job did I get as the final outcome, but it gave you a little bit of a confidence that, in fact, you might be able to work at this level, and I continued to fine-tune and polish my broadcasting skills, and eventually through Doug McLean, a longtime friend of mine that I grew up with on Prince Edward Island, gave me the chance here in Columbus, and it's been a terrific experience.
Well, partner, they don't get any better than you, and having worked with you now for the last, since the year 2000, it's been some of the best, and I know we're looking for our first playoff run here next year.
Billy, you know what? Hopefully going into year number 7, it's going to be a terrific experience here in the Blue Jackets Radio Network. Calling the NHL is one thing, but taking it to the next level and calling playoff games, I know you and I will have to put seatbelts on, both of us.
George Matthews, play-by-play announcer for the Columbus Blue Jackets and the best.
Jackets again on the perimeter, off the half-boards left side, and now stealing Vaborny, the goal, he's in, he's drawn down, scored! Jackets right back in the mix here, as David Vaborny, backhand shot, he'll hold on to it, and he will beat goaltender Chris Osgood,
100.
Glove side, and the Jackets make it 3-2.
Well, for David Vaborny, that's goal number 100, and what a play by Vaborny as he stick checks the defender. He walks in all alone, and his patented backhand move, his 16th point in the last 11 games for David Vaborny, and the Jackets have pulled it within one. 6 minutes to go here in period number 2. Well, again, this Detroit Red Wing team, their penalty kill has been successful here as of late. They are right now 17 of 17 in their penalty kill. The Jackets working on their second power play here tonight. 1:19 to go on that Lang holding penalty. 16:49 to go in this game, and again the Jackets trail it by 1.
I know you talked about medical. There's a shot. Oh, scores! Danny Frenchie! Right off the face-off, squeezes one between the pads of the glove of goaltender Osgood. That one from a severe right-wing angle, squeezes through, and the Jackets have come back with back-to-back goals. We're tied at 3 apiece.
Oh, Ken Hitchcock's got a smile on his face. Why? Right off the draw, the Jackets get an opportunity, and Fritchie puts it in on the glove side, short side, and that is his 7th of the campaign. The Jackets have knotted it at 3. 16:45 to go in this hockey game. and we've got ourselves a hockey game.
Now we do. This one a barn burner at Nationwide as, again, they upend it now. Let's see. Okay, we've got an opportunity to have Chimera mixing it up. He's in there with Nick Cleary as well, so the Jackets have come back big time here to tie it at 3. And this one then, a little race and chase off into the right wing corner. Jackets in hustling for it. There's Vaborny, comes loose to Nash, all the way back to Adam Foote. Then Midwall, right side of Vaborny, down low, all the way back to the center point. Adam Foote loads up, score! Jackets take the lead, 4-3. Back to back to back to back goals. Lead for the first time of the power play, 4-3.
What a howitzer. That puck back to number 52, the captain of this hockey team. That's his second goal of the campaign, his first power play goal. And again, good job by Rick Nash on the screen. And it gets to the back of the net now. Whether Nash got a stick on it or not, all I know is the Jackets have come back, and you said it, George, back to back to back to back. That's 4 of them, and it's a 4-3. Blue Jacket lead, 14:43 to go in the third period. And we'll wait for the official call.
Oh, boys, I'll tell you what, Adam Foote, he is going to unload it from about 55 feet off the middle point. We'll see and hear for the official call here. Nobody leaves Nationwide anymore, Billy.
Oh, no. No reason to.
What about Tony Polina? Do you want to talk about Tony Polina?
Well, I've been involved in sports radio since about 1992 when our flagship station, Sports Radio 1460, The Fan, went all sports. I had the opportunity to be a network producer for Ohio State football and Ohio State basketball, which was a wonderful experience for me. But the highlight, I think, of my career came back in 2003 when the Columbus Blue Jackets asked me to be the on-site engineer for the games here. I was as new to the NHL as anybody else in Columbus when the franchise first got here. I'm kind of like with everybody else, it's a learning experience. And the 4 years since I've been with the Blue Jackets, it has been very much a learning experience, especially from the standpoint of working with George Matthews and Bill Davidge, who can call a blowout loss as exciting as Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They are educators. They are so much fun to work with. And I've also had the privilege to work with our in-game host, Mark Wyant. I used to produce his radio shows at Sports Radio 1460 The Fan when he did a show with Kirk Herbstreit. And between the three of them, it has been so much fun. I take my engineering very seriously when I work and produce a game and engineer it in a way that I would like to listen to it if I was driving around in my car or at home listening to the hockey game. We want to provide as much excitement as possible to the fans. We want to call an exciting product, and with the direction of Russ Mollahan, our director of broadcasting, we take our jobs very seriously. We have so much fun. It is a team effort. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and it truly is the greatest job in the world. I'm very fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. I look forward to, hopefully, the very near future when the Blue Jackets make the playoffs.
One last thing. How did the tradition start at the post-game shows of everyone yelling your name at the end?
I think the tradition started of everybody yelling my name at the end of the post-game. I had to go back to a few of the season ticket holders who evidently either felt very sorry for me or they liked my work a whole lot and they wanted to make sure I got some recognition out of it. But this broadcast is definitely for the fans. Without them, we wouldn't be here, and we just want to provide as much excitement for them as possible. And that's one of the great things about a radio broadcast. You do feel closer to the fans and the people listening to your broadcast. You get to know them on a first-name basis. You get to hear what they like, what they don't like, and we just try to make it better. But it's truly all about the fans, and we thank each and every one of them for listening to us, and hopefully we'll be doing this for a very long time.